He hasn't taken any cognitive tests because he couldn't pass one. I actually took one when I very recently when I was, the radical left was saying, "Is he all there? Is he all there?" And I proved I was all there because I aced it. I aced the test. Took it at Walter Reed Medical Center in front of doctors, and they were very surprised. They said, "That's an unbelievable thing. Rarely does anybody do what you just did."
That was President Donald Trump basically saying the quiet part out loud again in a very strange attempt to humble brag, except without the humble part. So this is in context. He was on Sean Hannity last night. And so Hannity asked him, hey, okay, so is Joe Biden, he's like talking about taking tests, talking about taking cognitive tests, right? And first Trump's like, oh, no, he means corona tests because, you take corona tests all the time. You don't take cognitive tests every once in a while. You don't take them all the time. So he meant corona, but I took the cognitive test, and boy, did I blow him away. Oh, look at that. Cognitive test. That means I'm super smart. No, that's not what that means. It's amazing that we're in the stage of an election, right, where the two men who are running for election are both, from both sides, right, are being kind of called up like, hey, are you mentally there? Because, of course, obvious examples of Donald Trump, and I'll go back through some of those just in case you forgot, because there's a lot. And then there's, of course, Joe Biden's inability to speak full sentences, or at least, lately he's actually been a lot better. But, man, earlier a lot of us were like, whoa, are you okay, Joe? What's going on with you? Like, you can't speak in full sentences. Now, again, he's gotten a little bit better, sort of, the thing. So that just, of course, again, proves that we're in hell. But anyway, so amazing. Okay, so now Donald Trump saying that the doctors were, quote, very surprised, right? They're very surprised that that he passed a cognitive test with flying colors. That's not the brag that you think it is. I mean, those cognitive tests, they're not like IQ tests, right? They're not like you take this test and it proves how smart you are. No, this test is very, very simple, just to show whether or not you have cognitive decline. I'm not even convinced that he took this test, to be honest, because I don't think anybody brags about, taking such a simple test and say, look at that. They were so impressed that I passed this test, that I blew it away. I mean, oh, look at that. Tremendous. Oh, my God. Jesus. Okay. So now look, that's the thing. This guy is incredibly dumb. And just to say that, like, he actually did say he did take this test, right? And say it didn't prove that it did prove that he's not like mentally losing it, then what's his excuse? He's just stupid. I mean, let me give you some examples, okay? This is a guy who said, let's nuke a hurricane. Let's nuke a hurricane. Or also when it comes to coronavirus, where he was like, hey, can we inject disinfectant to, combat that virus? Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. Don't. Or also asking the German chancellor about 20 times, could we just trade with Germany? Well, Germany's part of the EU. She said that. Well, no, you can't just trade with us. You got to trade with the EU because we're part of the EU. Yeah, but can I just trade with Germany? Well, no, because we're part of the EU. Germany cannot. You have to trade with the EU. You can't just trade with Germany alone. Yeah, but can I trade with Germany? Over and over again. And so she's like, okay, you can trade with Germany. I mean, this guy's an idiot. And there's numerous examples of Donald Trump saying some of the dumbest things alive. So I guess if I were one of the doctors, and I should have been no. That's again another thing that Donald Trump had said is that the doctors asked me, how did I get so smart? That Maybe I should have been a doctor instead of going into politics. Maybe that's what I should have done. Yeah. No, no. But if I were one of those guys and Donald Trump actually did pass the cognitive test, which again, not an IQ test, right? I would be kind of surprised. Just like, wow. So wait a minute. It turns out the guy's brain isn't actually melting. And you know what that would mean? That his deep ignorance and stupidity isn't the fault of any kind of brain issue. It's the fact that he's just that dumb of a person. And that actually is ultimately worse. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.